Welcome back to another episode of Steaming Pile with Lauren and Tucker. I am Lauren.
And I'm Tucker.
And I have been contemplating the weird comfort of on-screen violence.
Oh yes, very comforting. Do continue.
Yeah. So most of the time, and I've talked about it before, there are certain things that do make me uncomfortable when it comes to violence, especially when the participant, there is no hope. Their head's just going to explode. But, you know, I've been watching The Sopranos, and there is something very nice in the violence in it. It's like the whole show in general feels very comforting. Like, it is the kind of show that I'm like, I'm going to turn it on, I'm going to lay down, and I'm just going to enjoy it because I know it's going to be good. Mm-hmm. But then, you know, Tony kills the guy, I think, in like episode 6. And I don't know. There's something about it that is comforting, and I don't know if it's just because I'm not the guy getting whacked, although that probably has a lot to do with it. But there's certain kind of violences that are just very visceral, mm-hmm. and therefore maybe satisfying is the better word for it. Comforting makes me sound terrible.
I've heard worse. Very interesting. Very interesting. So it's not just The Sopranos. Do you have another example of this?
Yes. We watched a show called Vinland Saga, which is about Vikings. And one of them is called Thorkel the Tall. And he, in the show, is like 7'7". Mm-hmm. And he just mows through people as if it were just fabric. He cuts through them. It's great. But there's a scene where he's following the main character and the band of mercenaries that he's traveling with. And they can see like the spears glinting in the background. And when Thorkel makes contact visually with all of them, he takes his spear, says, "I've found you," and he hurls it like half a mile, and it skewers through 4 people.
Nice.
And it's just so good.
So I'm trying to figure out what distinguishes this from non-comfortable violence.
Part of it may be the person who perpetuates the violence, because like Tony Soprano's a big guy. Mm-hmm. James Gandolfini was over 6 feet tall. Thorkel the Tall is 7'7". Maybe it's like the inverse of megalophobia. I really just like watching big things be big and powerful and scary.
That could be. Would it have the same effect if, someone really short did it? Test yourself. Let's say the Viking was a dwarf. What would it have the same? Would that spear have the same comfort? Your words. Comfort. Your words.
Comfort is the word that I use, and I don't know that comfort would be the emotion I feel, and I don't know if that's because I am a heavier person, and so the idea that someone being, 7'7" would just dwarf me, I'm like, that's appealing. That's an appealing feeling. So maybe it's part of that. Don't know why the violence has to come with it, but
Hey, you learn something new about yourself every day, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the vague notion of comfortable violence, like satisfying in a way.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't quite put my finger on what differentiates it from the opposite. Because I haven't watched The Sopranos for a very long time, but I'm in the middle of like season 3, I think. It's just a long show, and
yes.
the violence and it is very occasional in The Sopranos. It's not nearly as violent as I thought it would be. But it's kind of comfortable. Maybe it's all the build up. Maybe it's because I'm just thinking of all of the murders that I remember, and there was a lot of build up, and I don't know if it doesn't sound like that was the case on the Viking show, but excuse me, I don't know what else it could be. I get The Sopranos for some reason just feels cozy.
Which
is very strange.
It does.
I don't know why, because I have no emotional attachment to The Sopranos as a show.
No nostalgia.
Not at all.
My dad never watched it. And I wonder if possibly it's the way it's made. So maybe if I didn't grow up watching it, it reminds me of the live action shows that I did watch as a kid. Because, cozy is exactly the word I would use for it.
Yeah. There's just no nostalgia attached to it. It's truly fascinating. Maybe it's just how it was shot or the writing, because it's not really about the mob. It's about Tony. Yeah. So I wonder if this is a well documented phenomenon. That Sopranos is cozy, despite it's about the Italian mob.
I could see that. Breaking Bad's a little cozy, not as cozy as The Sopranos by any stretch, and maybe that's because it's set in New Mexico instead of Jersey.
It's also a very different time period, and also,
I
don't think Breaking Bad was shot on film. The Sopranos definitely was.
Maybe that's the case.
But I don't want to be that guy. It's like, it's shot on film, so it has this different aesthetic. I mean, it does, but I don't know that contributes to the coziness of it, because it truly does feel like it comes from Tony as a character.
Oh, for sure. James Gandolfini is extremely charismatic.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He has a short role in The Loop as a general. Even in that, he's incredibly charismatic. He just, I don't know, I think that was one of his last roles, too. I was in The Loop was 2009, and he died in 2011, right?
Was it that early? I, for some reason, was thinking it was 2015.
It might be. Squeaky ass chair.
Because he made some movie, not with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, but someone who reminds me the world of her.
2013. 2013,
okay.
Yeah. Somehow he was in The Many Saints of Newark.
Really? I assume through, what's the word? Archival footage?
Quite possibly. I know that they CGI'd his mother into an episode of Sopranos after she died in the real world.
That makes sense.
So I can't imagine they did that with, let's see, filmography. He is credited in, he's not credited on the filmography, which is fascinating. Anyway, yeah, In the Loop was 2019. He died in 2013.
It is Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I was correct.
There you go.
It just was called Enough Said, and for some reason I kept thinking it had a different title, and so I kept looking for it and not seeing it.
Oh, he had some stage credits, too. Fascinating. A Streetcar Named Desire. Well, good for you, James Gandolfini.
He's probably great in that. That is the one thing that bums me out, that a lot of stage performances just aren't archived in the same way.
Yeah.
And so there's so many performances that I'm like, that sounds amazing. There's no way to find it unless you live in New York City, have a New York Public Library card. You go in, you give specific reasons for why you want to see the show you want to see, and then you can't take it with you. You have to watch it there at the library.
I didn't know that was a thing you could do.
Yeah, it's cool that you can do it.
What kind of, how complete is their archive?
That is a good question. I don't know how complete the archive is, but I know that at least a lot of major musicals on opening night, they have a fully recorded version of it. I don't think it's a full pro shot quality, but they have footage of it. So archivists and people doing research are allowed to watch it. But it's very tightly controlled.
I wonder why it's so tightly controlled. Why hasn't someone tried to go in and buy the rights to streaming rights for that?
Ooh.
Or maybe they have. Why would they say no? Because that would be incredibly lucrative.
I would think, because that's what got me about the whole pandemic thing, is no one put together a server basically where they would live stream a performance, and you could buy tickets, and that was basically just where your seat was, or just shoot dead on from center.
Yeah.
And let it be full of risks. It's like, we can't guarantee the connection here, we can't guarantee the connection there for you. You pay $60, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I feel like that would go over really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially for international fans. There are tons of fans who live in, like, Europe and stuff. And if it doesn't come to any of the major cities in Europe, they're just stuck with, like, cast recordings and bootlegs.
Yeah.
Slime tutorials.
Yeah. I wonder why the New York Public Library is so strict about that. I haven't the foggiest.
For shows that are and not even for shows that are currently running. I don't get that for shows that are currently running, because there's no way me watching, Great Comet sitting in the New York Public Library with headphones on my laptop is going to be anything like sitting there, and it's in New York anyway.
Yeah.
Because that was part of the issue with, like, illegal music, is that actually does cut into sales.
Yes.
But bootleg of theater performances don't cut into sales at all. No. If anything, probably helps.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. That is all a very good question that I wish I had the answer to. I wonder if anyone's approached the New York Public Library about their archives.
It may vary show to show, because it's just because the New York Public Library has the records, I don't know that necessarily means that they own the distribution rights or anything. Those still probably rest with like the libretto company.
Probably.
There's a big one, I can't think of their name right now, but they help handle all of the licensing.
Yeah, that's probably true.
MTI, that's the one.
Ah, okay.
I've got a poster on my wall that tells me who licenses things.
That's a fascinating poster. All right. Well, if you ever need a license to play, you know where to look. Slightly to the right.
Yes. My own desktop. I was reading through stuff I was writing the other day, like a play I had written in college, and I was pleasantly surprised that a lot of the jokes were still funny.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Humor doesn't get that dry that fast.
I should hope not.
Yeah.
But like, I was expecting it to be bad. I was
You're expecting some cringe?
Like, this is yeah. And I'm sure there are some things that others would find cringy, but some elements I'm just like, yeah, this is exactly, I wrote it for myself. Like,
there you go. It's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. Looking back on previous writings, definitely can be cringe. The ones that hold up are far and few between.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel that.
Because you get on a kick, and you just want to go through all of it and see if any of it is worth salvaging.
Oh, yeah. Usually when I'm starved for new ideas, I'm like, let me dig through my trash. Let's see. let's see if I can restart one of these cars.
Oh, my trash is some of my favorite places to look. I have so many, like, just garbage things that I enjoy that are just full of pathetic 30-year-old men seeking, like, validation. And I'm like, I love how pathetic you are. And I want to keep you in this little box and just watch you embarrass yourself, please. And it's stuff like that. Or, like, just family dysfunction. No wonder so many things get written based on family dysfunction, because it's so interesting how people respond to what their parents did.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah. It's a plot of a lot of TV shows.
Is it?
Oh, sure. I think, I believe that's, a thread of Shameless. That's a thread of Fringe. That's a thread of it's such a vague motif, right? Oh no, your parents screwed you up. Okay.
Well, who can relate?
Wow. Wowie zowie. Incredible. But yeah, digging through trash is fun. As long as you're like alone in a dark room where no one can hear you scream. It's because it is cringe. It's cringe. And the only way I'm comfortable with cringe is because I know that cringe is only your reaction to being vulnerable. And you can cringe at yourself, that's fine, right? But who cares if you cringe at yourself?
Yeah.
Do you care if you cringe at yourself? You care that usually. It's cringe, but not in the act of cringing. Like, ooh, this is pretty bad writing. But I mean, who else? No one will ever see this. No one will ever see this. Will never see. I mean, it's on a Google server somewhere, and maybe everyone in Mountain View, California, is like, look at this dumbass writing this horrible crap. Yeah. But I hope that's not even possible. But who knows? Data mining is
entertaining, at least.
Yes.
Because cringe, I think, is less reflective as it is anticipatory, if that would be the word.
I agree with that.
Where, no, I wrote it. I like it. The cringe comes from anticipating what other people's reactions are. And that's the stage I'm in right now with some of the stuff that I've been writing.
Right.
Where I have sent stuff. I've sent stuff to you, and I'm like, oh, no. Mm-hmm. I forgot those scenes were in, oh no. And then there's scenes in like the current thing I'm working on where I'm like, I thought this was good to go to people. It doesn't deserve to see the light of day. I'm just going to hold it in this dish bucket for a while until it stops squirming. And then I'm going to leave it in a dumpster for 4 months. And then if it's still alive, it's still alive. And then it can deserve to be seen.
Yep, but it's never the fear of what people will think of the work. It's the fear of what people will think of you for having produced the work. The content herein is a reflection of you, which isn't always true. It's always true to some degree, but sometimes that degree is so minuscule.
Yes.
That it's not even almost not worth thinking about, right? And the concern is that you know how much of you is in it, but nobody else does, and so they will instantly attribute it to, wow, this is the author's blood, sweat, and tears in this. This is who they are as a person. They've basically taken a knife, opened up their wrist, and started writing with their wrist on the page. Yeah. This is what was always inside of them, always will be inside of them. And this is what they think about people and things and ideas. And that's not true sometimes, most of the time. Yeah. And is the cringe, the anticipatory cringe, even cringe? It feels similar. There's definitely a distinctness between reading something you wrote, generally less recently, not as recently, and there's the fear response of what people will think about you when you show them something. I feel that every time I publish anything, right? Yes. Whether it be written work, which I haven't done in ages, a video, code, anything. Mm-hmm. And it's really bad, and I know I shouldn't, because it's something that you need to get past. But at the same time, I wonder if it, in order to be semi-successful creatively, if that's something you need to unlearn. Do you think the likes of, think of people, modern day Renaissance men, Donald Glover, Donald Glover's friend, whose name is escaping me, Fleabag, what's her name? Phoebe something.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge. James Franco at one time. Not so much anymore. We haven't heard a peep out of him in a while. The people who are really just, they have no one defined medium. Do you think that
they've had or still have this problem? Or do you think at this point, whatever they create will be somewhat accepted? Or do you think they still have the fear?
I think a degree of that fear is good because it means you care. Because the weird thing is when you stop caring completely, the two options are very frightening. Because on the one hand, you have complete creative freedom and you're just going to do whatever, and people will enjoy that kind of like reckless abandon. Or you become what you fear most and you become a joke and become self-parody. Where you can do no wrong, where you think everything you make is going to be amazing without any self-awareness. I think healthy cringe is self-awareness.
Yeah. It must be nice to have that diminished in a way. Just to, not care, but care less.
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder, I'm trying to think, Kendrick Lamar's new album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, is not what anyone expected. It is basically a therapy session on record, on 2 CDs. It's incredibly deep. It's good. I liked it, but it's not what I or anyone else really expected. Do you? I would imagine that he didn't feel any of those feelings. Like, he knew that people would react in the way that they did. It wasn't as big as Damn was. It wasn't as good as To Pimp a Butterfly, which I still believe should have beat Taylor Swift for Album of the Year back when it was released, but I digress. I'll put my home address down here. You can come attack me. I wonder if at some point you just accept that, you can't. There's literally a song in the album. It's called Crown. You can't please everybody.
No. And sometimes the deeply personal really pays off, and I think in Kendrick's case, now is almost like the right time to do something like that. Just where, there are lots of albums that came before it. It's almost been building to this to reflect back on the success of albums like Damn and the ones before it. And people have had a weird 2 years, so they've probably done a lot of self-reflecting, and I think it's cool when people can do something so deeply personal and almost awkward in a way.
Oh yeah.
And have it pay off.
Oh yeah, it's incredibly awkward, that album. Yeah.
Where it's, do you feel like you're intruding on something? Like
kind of, sort of.
It's where maybe not quite like your friend's parents are fighting, but the feeling of like, I'm learning a lot.
Oh, there's one track on the album that's literally 2 people fighting.
Oh.
That's the song. We Cry Together. It's the second to last on the first disc.
Oh.
It's really good. He instead of getting a rapper or singer to feature on it, he got an actress. And it was a good decision. She was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hardly even a song. It's more of a skit, but it's if you haven't listened to the album, I recommend.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a very good album, and by the end you're like, oh my god. Kendrick, buddy. Yikes.
Because there are a lot of pieces that I feel are personal, and then there are some that are like personal before someone is really ready to be personal. Between what year was it? I think it was 1965. Rubber Soul comes out from the Beatles, and it's after they've met Bob Dylan, and Bob Dylan is like, you should do songs like this. And so they tried. And there's a song on it, if I have the songs correct. Yeah, there's a song In My Life that John Lennon wrote. It's probably about their friend Stu Sutcliffe, who had died of like a sudden stroke when they were like teenagers. And the song, John doesn't look favorably back on like any of the songs from that time, but he especially dismisses that one, and I can see why, because it's almost, it's like when you first start writing things that are personal, and then you look back on it, it's like, oh gosh, I have no idea how to convey this in a way that has any artistic merit for anyone else.
Yep.
But now everyone knows it.
Yep.
Versus a song that he wrote later called Mother, which is better, still very personal, still very deep, but doesn't have the awkward vulnerability to it. I mean, I think that's what makes the difference, is if it's awkward, it's hard to fully own the piece. But if it's confident, even if it's hard to get through, or just like very personal and very emotional, if you go through it, and for someone to have produced a whole album for it, you have to spend a lot of time with it. And I imagine that's where Kendrick succeeds, is it's not an awkward vulnerability.
Yeah, it's, I see what you're saying now. Yeah, it's I don't think it's awkward in that sense. Yeah. And it's a very long album, so he has time, right? Like yeah. But yeah, it's very good. I still think To Pimp a Butterfly is, it's definitely top 3 of my favorite rap albums. It had been a while since he had released something, like a very long time. Because Damn came out in 2017. Nah, To Pimp a Butterfly came out in 2015, and Damn came out in 2018, 17. Okay.
Yeah.
Untitled and Mastered. Untitled and Mastered came out between the two, and then Black Panther, which was more of a collection, and then Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Wow. So. Yeah.
He's really young.
He's like 30-something, yeah?
Yeah, I was thinking he was in his 40s already.
No. He's he's not very old at all. 34?
35.
35, okay. Yeah, no, he's incredibly young.
But like recently 35. Like literally a month ago.
Happy birthday, Kendrick. But yeah, it's a very good album. I think the best song on that album wasn't even on the album. I think they added it to the end as like a bonus track because it came out before the album. It wasn't even. It was a single, but he always releases a song called "The Heart" before his albums. This is "The Heart" Part 5, and it was so good.
That's really cool.
And the music video was they deep faked a bunch of faces on him. O.J. Simpson, Will Smith, Nipsey Hussle, Kanye at one point, and it was the same people who make South Park that did that, and they did a very good job, and it was it was incredibly impressive, and the song is so good, likened to This Is America level of why wasn't this on your album? It's so good. It's so good. But yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah. So but yeah, I wonder if he felt the pressure, or if at that point he realized that he was going to make something good no matter how personal and awkward it was. At some point, I mean, if you were to have made To Pimp a Butterfly, if you were to have made Damn, obviously the hot streak can end. But the odds of that? Like I'm thinking of Tyler, the Creator, for example, has only been getting better and better. Call Me If You Get Lost wasn't as I guess, personal or experimental as Igor was, but it was still widely accepted as a very good album. So it's, I mean, at this point, do people just accept, at some point in your creativity, your creative career, do people just start to accept what you make, and only after a while, in retrospect, you think, wait a minute, that wasn't good?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of an example.
It probably depends on how long between releases.
What? How do you mean?
Like, if you're someone who is putting out, like, a new thing every year, it's going to take people a while to catch on if things aren't good.
Sure.
But if you're taking, 3 years, 5 years in between things,
mm-hmm.
people may just be so excited that you dropped something new that they're not going to go back and critically evaluate. It's kind of a horseshoe, because then if you wait too long, the expectations are too high, because you're like, so what were you spending all of this time on becomes the question. And I think that's the case with people like George R.R. Martin and Patrick Rothfuss, who are supposed to finish out their series and they just haven't yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I think George R.R. Martin especially will have that problem. Kendrick had that problem. Childish Gambino had that problem. There are a couple TV shows that took a very long break, and will likely have that problem. Arrested Development, yeah, well, that one just kind of shit the bed at the end. That one,
it kind of did, yeah.
That one was like one of the best written shows in that caliber, and then they sold it to Netflix. Netflix is like, ooh, let's get creative. No.
Green is not a creative color.
Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is coming back with something.
It is. Oh,
and
yeah.
I wonder if they're going to have the same problem too, because it's literally been like 5 years now. Yeah. And I don't know if that's going to be too much for them to bear. If what they come back with is going to be different enough from the original 6 videos. Because the original 6 videos had a very well-defined arc.
Yes.
And it's important that they do something slightly different, because we got it the first time. So what are they going to do now? What point are they going to make now? And if they try to make the same point, I don't think it will be good.
No. Because the first go around, at least from my understanding, it was kind of about like children's television. I think that was supposed to be the point. And so, yeah, if they do that point again, it's like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
What new thing are you having to say about it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That will be interesting.
I think the bad move is to talk about the internet some more. Because at this point, we all know it's a hellscape when we know it's rotting our brains.
Yeah.
And so making content about the cautions of that, I'm like, what? Yeah.
We know. Yeah. Yeah, so, we know. We get it.
So I'm curious. Yeah, I'm really curious what the next plan is. I think moving away from messaging could be good, and just being kind of Twilight Zone and the wouldn't this be messed up. I'm a big fan of that approach. The first time they pulled Puppet Guts out, and it wasn't Puppet Guts.
Yes, that was a very well done
lives
show.
In my brain.
Yeah, it was so incredibly well done. Yeah, once they had the first one, they realized, ooh, we have to make a second one, and then they're like, ooh,
we can make a third.
Oh my god, incredible. Yes, that was I mean, that's an internet classic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's an internet classic. So the pressure is high.
Yes,
and it's been so long, and but it doesn't have as large of a following as, say, Kendrick Lamar or something like that. It's still something that doesn't seem niche to us is actually indeed quite niche.
Yeah,
like I was I was thinking about it the other day. Apparently, and this absolutely blew my goddamn mind, Lauren, Harry Styles is coming to Chicago for 5 nights, and he sold out all of them.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Now, I wonder, the 2 possibilities. One, he's only doing a couple of cities. He's hitting the big cities, but he has long time at each of them, right? I think he's in Chicago for 5 days, and he sold out all of them. So, like, I mean, I get it. It's Harry Styles, but to me, that doesn't seem that. How? I don't understand how he was able to do that. I could maybe understand like someone like Taylor Swift doing that.
Yeah. But
I can't fathom. Where is he playing? Because if he's playing at like the United Center, that's huge. They have basketball games in there. How do you fill that 5 nights? Are people coming in to see it?
They would have to be. Because if you live in Indiana, Wisconsin, Missouri, or Iowa,
yeah,
and you don't, and he's not coming to any major city in your state, you have to go to Chicago.
Mm-hmm. October 6th to October 14th.
That's
much longer, yeah.
A lot of nights.
Holy crap. And let me just verify that they are indeed sold out on every night.
Because he has to be more popular now than One Direction ever was as a collective.
Yeah. And Zayn's up there too. He's not Harry Styles, but he's up there too.
Yeah. Because, like, I missed the One Direction zeitgeist. I never hopped on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
And... but, like, I've heard more of his music now than I think I ever heard of their band.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think he just played his cards right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, he is going to be there for 5 nights. It's like Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Friday.
That makes sense.
Yeah, okay. But I'm not going to click through Ticketmaster. I hate Ticketmaster.
It's so cursed.
Tickets are sold out. That's the last night. How about the Thursday, the first night? Yep. Okay. First and last are sold out. No doubt that the weekends are sold out too. And it's the United Center. The United Center. Insane. Crazy to me. And and even someone like Taylor Swift, I don't know that she could sell out more than 3 nights. But maybe my estimations are wrong. I saw Weird Al on Friday. He had almost sold out the crowd in the Symphony Hall, which is not nearly as big as the United Center, but neither are the people willing to go see him live.
True. Yeah.
In full disclosure, maybe this was written down somewhere, but I didn't see it. This was not. I don't think this was a standard Weird Al show. This was. It was a little cozier.
Yeah.
It was. He had his full band. Rock and roll. Yeah. He had his accordion and harmonica, but he played some crazy deep cuts. Like, he didn't play anything popular. He did some deep cuts, and his encore was James Taylor's Fire and Rain, and then a medley of his popular ones. It was fascinating.
Hysterical. Wow. Because, I heard some deep cuts when I saw him in Atlanta, and I found some of my new favorites from him because of that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think it's called One More Minute.
Yes!
I love that one.
He played that.
So good.
Oh, I was so excited. My camera went out of focus.
I love
yes!
that one. I love that one so much.
Yeah, he played that. It was, it was like full-on rock and roll. It was incredible.
Yeah.
But you went to the Mandatory Fun tour, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe it was Mandatory Fun.
Yeah.
Or not Mandatory Fun. There was like an orchestra-themed one. Strings attached.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was, he was really good. He's still got it.
This is great, yeah. And he's been traveling with the same 3 guys
They were all there
for the entirety of his career, which I adore. I think that's amazing.
They were all there.
And he's so reasonable to see. Like, every time I look, like, at just regular tickets, but also the meet and greet packages I've looked at, have all been pretty reasonable. Like, still concert ticket expensive, but there's some people trying to charge 4 digits to see them, and I'm like, I'm sorry, if you're charging more than Weird Al, you need to reevaluate how you feel about yourself.
Yes.
And adjust.
Yes. No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Yeah. It's but it was insane to me that so many people are willing to see Weird Al live, because Weird Al is kind of niche. He is kind of like, he's, you know, he's the parody guy that you listen to if, you know.
Yeah.
He hasn't come out with a new album in forever.
I think Mandatory Fun was the last album.
It was,
that was
but
2014.
14, okay.
Yeah. Well, and he's done some other stuff in the meantime. Like, he did Milo Murphy's Law for Disney Channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mandatory Fun was a good album.
That was a good album.
Yeah.
I love this stuff. And I like UHF. Sometimes YouTube has UHF on for free. And that's a lot of fun. Oh, and I bet he's working on that movie for
Yep.
Rackham?
Yeah, that was a joke he told. He said he was going to play the new song he wrote for it, and he picked up his accordion, and then he said, but he can't because of an NDA. It was a very fun show, though. Again, not at all what I was expecting, but it was so good. And his opener, Emo Phillips, he was funny too.
Okay, I think I've heard of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Emo Phillips was very funny.
But yeah, no, that is like the career ideal, to make a movie in like 1988 and then just 40 years of comfortable success.
Oh, he's very comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a reasonably sized home in a beautiful location, and I mean he still works. He still does what he loves.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to, and that's a great place to be in.
Yeah, and is just doing great. And I think just there's continues to be a cycle of new people who find out about him, and then they fall down the same rabbit holes. And even if you don't listen to it frequently, there are still songs of his that I know all the words to, or will sing instead of the original.
Yes. Okay, he's only 62.
62.
Nice. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't even care about Gangster's Paradise.
No.
Amish Paradise is white and nerdy.
So good. I love white and nerdy. That's that video is perfect in every way.
Yeah. What a god. Oh.
Yes.
Incredible. But yeah, he definitely doesn't. I can't imagine he thinks very much about what he's like. The stuff he's doing is kind of purposefully cringe, but it's also not.
But it is the dad joke kind of cringe, where it is the reaction of the collective that matters more than the actual content. Which is not to say that he doesn't care. He plays the accordion extremely well. You have to care about stuff like that. But I think he just has a very healthy self-awareness and works within that, and it's great. Periodically, I will still go back and watch his Mandatory Fun tour announcement where he edited himself in to the scene in Whiplash, where instead of drums it's the accordion. I love that. I love that so much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good old Weird Al. Yep. I wonder if he's going to release another album.
I would hope so. At least just like one more, because there has to have been enough songs worthy to parody.
Oh, sure, yeah.
To warrant an album.
Yeah.
I do know that either Mandatory Fun or the one that came before it marked the end of like a really terrible contract with whatever music company he was with before. that they were expecting him to put out like 10 albums, which is a lot.
That's so much.
Yeah. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, you know what, no new stuff, that's fine. We'll do something different. But I would like to have another album at some point.
Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to the movie with Daniel Radcliffe in it. I want to see him play
I think that'll
Weird
be
Al.
fun. Yeah.
I'm so happy that Daniel Radcliffe doesn't have to do anything serious ever again.
Yes.
Because he's such a good comedy actor. And
He's
he
so
never had
funny.
the chance to do that in Harry Potter, so I'm really excited about, like, when I saw Swiss Army Man, I'm like, oh my god, he's so good. I think the first non-Harry Potter role I saw him in was, like, it was that horror movie. What was that horror movie?
The Woman in Black.
The Woman in Black was not very good. But Swiss Army Man was so good. I loved Swiss Army Man.
That's, I think, the only one in his trilogy of Weird that I haven't seen.
Oh, you gotta see it.
I like
Paul Dano in it.
I like Paul Dano a lot.
Yep, that's it. It's just those two for the majority of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
I did see him Guns Akimbo, which is okay, also really weird.
It's what happens when a director has a vision but no story. Because he very clearly wanted the graphic novel look, like Sin City almost, but the story was just kind of.
It was real bad.
Yeah.
It's like, you like this violence. It's like, you told us the story.
Yeah.
You need us to watch it. Don't blame us for giving you money. And Horns, which started out good and was a really cool concept, but was very deeply uncomfortable and awful by the end.
Yeah. He hung Dong and Equus, didn't he?
He did in fact.
Daniel Radcliffe.
That one may have even been in between Harry Potter films.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was in a super great place at that point.
Probably. Filmography and awards. He has a separate page for that. Okay. I just want to see what he was in most recently. The Lost City. Oh, Escape from Pretoria. That's right. I wanted to see that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because, I saw the trailer for The Lost City. I like the character that's happening there. That's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Woman in Black.
He's also really good in What If.
Yeah.
The F Word. He's really funny in that. But Adam Driver is also in it, playing a supporting character. And it's real hard to compete with
Adam Driver.
Really good supporting characters.
Oh, yeah. Adam Driver is far and away a better actor, but it's,
I like seeing Daniel Radcliffe in just very comfortable performances where he just gets to hang out. But yeah, I think there is something deeply satisfying. I think there is something deeply satisfying about seeing someone who is stuck in something for so long getting to do something different.
Yes. No, 100%.
Seeing serious actors do comedy.
Yeah. Has Josh Conrad done anything of note? Is that his name even?
Josh Conrad?
Josh Radnor. Why did I say Josh Conrad?
Oh, Radnor from
How I Met Your Mother.
He had to have.
Nothing I've heard of. Was he in movies? Couple. Nothing I've heard of.
Centaur. Oh, that's TV.
Yeah. Judging Amy.
Social Animals. 4 years ago.
Yeah, because Ted Mosby is going to be hard to get out from under. Sheldon Cooper is going to be hard to get out from under.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's where the supporting actors on that show had a much easier time. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but Howard Wolowitz, his actor is really good. He has a bit part in A Serious Man, and it's one of my favorite performances. In a movie that's full of great performances.
Simon Helberg,
yeah. I like him.
Yeah, he was also in Studio 30 on the Sunset Strip, which was Aaron Sorkin's Newsroom equivalent on... Before he wrote The Newsroom, he wrote Studio 30 on the Sunset Strip, which only ran for one season on NBC, and it was about a Saturday Night Live type show.
Ooh.
And it starred Matthew Perry and the guy who's so recognizable, but I can never remember his name. He was the father from... He's like in so many things, and I can never remember his name. He's the father from Get Out.
Oh, Bradley Whitford?
Yes. Yeah.
I also enjoy Bradley Whitford.
Yep. He's very good. But they're a team. They're the team that basically this because of course it does. It's a Aaron Sorkin TV show. It starts out with a rant, and it's the Lorne Michaels equivalent. Saturday Night Live exists in this universe. This is just a competing show.
Yeah.
And so it's a Lorne Michaels equivalent of the show, getting up in front of the cameras while they're live and going on this rant about how horrible the show has become, and how the schedule has been tampered with, and how it's just been so bad, and so he gets fired, and they bring in 2 previous writers for the show that had left for some reason, and it's Matthew Perry and Brad Whitford. Whitford, I think. Whitford, yeah. And Matthew Perry is like the lead writer, and the other guy is the kind of like the stage manager. He makes it happen.
Yeah.
And they have to deal with standards and practices. They got to get the show back into ratings and whatnot. Mm-hmm. It's very good, and I wish there was more of it, but the newsroom is so much better that I don't even care.
There you go.
Yeah.
I am too a fan of shows that start with a rant. There was a show on IFC called Brockmire that Hank Azaria was on, and I've enjoyed that. I didn't watch the whole thing, but if you like Eastbound and Down, Brockmire feels very similar to it in tone, except he's a baseball commentator rather than a player. And he has a substance abuse problem that all comes to a head when he realizes that his wife has been cheating on him. Mm-hmm. And so he has just a complete and total breakdown live on the game, and they have to quietly shuffle him away to the minor leagues so he can just deal with that.
Fascinating. Yeah, that does sound good.
It's pretty good. It got weird in, I think, season 3. Season 3 was kind of when I dropped off and quit watching it, because whatever I was watching it on changed how they did things, so it was it was gonna cost, but I didn't want to, so I just didn't.
What has Aaron Sorkin done recently?
To Kill a Mockingbird on Broadway.
Oh, he wrote that?
I think so. I think he wrote and directed the adaptation.
Yep. And Camelot.
Really?
Yeah, this year.
The musical Camelot?
Maybe? Just clicking it brought me to the 1960 musical, so maybe.
Oh.
Productions and adaptations. Tell me about the most recent one. In March 2022, it was reported that Aaron Sorkin and Bartlett Sher are working on a reimagined production for Broadway, which is slated to begin performances on Thursday, November 3rd, and open on Thursday, December 8th at the Vivian Beaumont Theater.
Wow.
In June, it had been announced that the revival had been postponed to the spring of 2023, and that's it. That's all we know.
Makes sense.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, but he has... apparently there's a Few Good Men play. I didn't know that.
Yes.
There was a special West Wing special. Yep. Sports
that
Night.
Makes sense.
What is Sports Night?
I would imagine similar to the newsroom in Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, but about ESPN.
Oh, damn it,
If
Taylor.
I had to just throw a dart at the board.
I have so many shows that I need to watch. That I'm in the middle of because they keep cranking out seasons.
Oh, yeah.
Better Call Saul has started up again, so it's oh, God, okay, now I have this hour-long show. The Sopranos, as I mentioned. Tiger King has a second season, which I bet you is going to be just as garbage as the first one. But I'm a completionist. I have to do it.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to get through Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which is actually kind of more of a drag than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
Which
we've not watched it. We watch the music videos.
Yeah, that's the best part.
And I can never decide if I like it or dislike it.
The songs are good. The rest of it is kind of hard to get through. It's not bad. It's just like, I can't believe this is an hour-long show and there's 4 seasons of this.
Hour long?
The episodes are hour long. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, that should be that's a half-hour sitcom.
You would hope so.
Yeah. Oh.
Yep. So, yeah. And Space Force, Atlanta, Better Things. Oh my God, why do I start so many shows? Oh.
Have you watched Dark?
No, I haven't watched Dark. Please don't make me add it to the list.
I won't. I have endured too much of like watch JoJo from my brother and sister as a joke that I don't wish to impose that kind of threat on others.
Coming in at number 10.
No, like my brother and sister really like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh.
And they bully me incessantly to watch JoJo.
When you said that, I thought Watch Mojo. I don't know why.
Both in the tone that I said it and with the amount of enthusiasm, it very well may as well have been Watch Mojo. Because there's so much startup energy required. And those episodes are 22 minutes long.
Oof. Yeah. If you can't get through that, then that must not be...
But the thing is it's not boring. Like, in a single episode, we had these ancient beings emerge from stone, suck a man dry, take over his body, and then jump into the body of a different Nazi, and then that Nazi crawled out into the sun because he knew the sun would damage the demon inside of him, and the protagonist follows the Nazi out into the courtyard, and the Nazi's like, hey, go to Rome, I'm gonna deal with this. The protagonist is like, but you can't. Nazi detonates a grenade all over himself. Demon's still alive. They have to punch it into a well so the sun is directly overhead. This is all one episode. But it feels like it takes forever.
Oh, yeah. Those are the best shows. Yeah, absolutely.
Allegedly, it's one of the best.
Incredible.
Maybe it will click.
Hopefully. I mean, you can't really start a TV show at, like, second season of Breaking Bad level of, come on now. But, like, you gotta... If you want to get to the meat and potatoes, you gotta power through. You gotta build the world.
Yeah.
You gotta establish it.
There's some good stuff in there. The memes are great. Love encountering the memes.
Yeah.
But sometimes you want to watch the German time travel show.
Sure. If you say so.
But no, when we started Dark, because we watch a lot of Japanese television, and sometimes I feel bad when I can't remember the character names because I feel like a dumb American in those instances, and I worry that there's hidden, it feels like a problem.
Yeah.
But I also couldn't think of the German character names, so I feel much better. I'm like, oh cool, it's just because it's not in English. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's in Japanese.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, they're syllables. Why are they harder to remember? I guess maybe because we just know so many English names. It's just we don't even remember the name. We just kind of encode it some other way instead of trying to learn a new word. There's no room.
Yeah. And so while we were watching Dark, every scene we're like, okay, this is Ulrich, married to Katharina, cheating with Hannah. They have these kids. Just because it's because with the time travel, they have multiple actors for some of these characters. And so we have to remember both what they looked like in the current year and what they looked like in the previous year.
Yeah.
It's...
Woof.
Yeah. But I feel good when watching it because I feel smart. It rewards a skilled viewer, someone who can pay attention, connect the dots, and no idea if that continues through subsequent seasons.
Well, we can hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can hope.
Yeah. But it's only possible that we can afford all of these streaming services through the money that we are given from our sponsors.
We could have 1 million sponsors and we won't be able to get all the streaming services. Let's be honest. Let's not lie to ourselves. Anyway, this episode of Steaming Pile, not Streaming Pile, that's the real world. This episode of Steaming Pile is brought to you by Ray-Ban Con. Not the expensive glasses manufacturer and not the wireless earbuds. Rather, it's the man trying to get conventions of any kind banned. Ray claims that every year thousands of people die from con-related injuries. Whether this number is real or made up, we can only speculate since this sort of thing isn't tracked at all, really. But Ray asserts that conventions are the number one issue in our country that we face today. You can learn more at Ray-Ban Con, where he will be demonstrating the dangers of conventions at his very own convention. Hosted in Houston, Texas, right next to the annual gun convention, you can get your free tickets at www.raybanconcon.com. Try saying that 3 times fast.
This feels like a false flag sponsor.
Well, I don't know. Well, we've already spent his money. I needed Hulu.
Yeah. I needed High Dive. So
there you go.
There we go. Thank you, Ray-Ban.
Ray-Ban Con.
And Ray-Ban Con. And Ray-Ban Con.
Not affiliated with Ray-Ban or Ray-Con.
Oh, that's right. He's just Ray.
He's just Ray. Trying to ban cons.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Mm-hmm. Grateful for the support as always. If you're in Houston, be sure to check out the convention.
Absolutely. It sounds like a blast.
This has been Steaming Pile with Lauren Tucker. I've been Lauren.
And I've been Tucker.
And we will see you all next time.